Let's talk about the dominant cognitive function for the INTJ, Introverted Intuition. This has been a problem, I think, in personal relationships for me, because it's like the difference between karate and kung fu. You know, karate is mainly straight lines, and kung fu tends to work with circles, and the motions are more circular than in karate. But the average person, I think, is more of a karate person, where they go straight lines. Even if they bounce around, they've kind of got a straight point of view of what way things should go. The INTJ, with this introverted intuition thing going, the first thing you want to do is look at it. You don't want to instantly respond. You want to think about it a little bit. You want to take it in. You want to absorb it. You want to understand it. And so in conversation, I have often confused the heck out of other people. I know I have, because they'll say something and I'll think about it for a second, and then I'll come at it from another angle and say, well, this is why that's true, and that's why that happened. And the other individual, this happened with my wife a lot, but the other individual could be quite upset about this event, and I'm saying, well, it's predictable. I mean, I said years ago this was going to happen. This is not a surprise. And it's like, instead, what the other individual is looking for is what is a response, sort of like you're playing a script or a game back and forth, where ain't it awful? This thing, isn't it awful? And me, I'm looking at the thing. I want to understand the thing. I want to understand what caused the thing, and why is this thing, why did it happen, and why are people reacting the way they are to this thing when they could have seen it coming years ago. At least I saw it coming years ago. Why is this surprising to you? And it can insult people, it hurt people when you do that, and it's. But I want to understand how something fits into the big picture. And so with the introverted intuition, you're looking for patterns of how things connect up, and repeatability, slight variations, but still repeatable. Patterns are funny. They tie together in odd ways, and but you're always looking for those, and you feel good when you find one too. And you're looking for meanings of things and possibilities. I know whenever I see a new invention comes along, and geez, they're coming along in a hurry these days, but I like to look and think about, what if, what could this thing be used for? It's amazing. I know in my book, I've got Bill and Cookie, which are basically metaphors of myself and my wife. They died, but their brains were uploaded before they died into android bodies, and so they're effectively living as androids. When I was first working this idea through in my head, I'm seeing the possibilities. If you could upload your brain into a computer and then download it into an android, which is what happened to them, you could download that same data set over and over again to a lot of bodies, a lot of androids, and suddenly there'd be a whole bunch of you running around. And one of the things I was thinking about was, you could take your clone or duplicate or alternate you. They could go off. You could go off somewhere far, far away and live out a whole bunch of experiences, while the you that's present would be living here, and another one might be living somewhere else, and you could come back together again, and you could, if you had the right software capabilities, you could merge all of the memories that you gathered from all of these multiple existences and become a vastly deeper person with a huge array of experiences to work with and data to massage through your brain when you're trying to analyze things. And you could send off one into something that's really, really dangerous and get the memory feedback before that you is vaporized, and learn things that you could never learn any other way. Anyway, this is the sorts of things my brain starts going through when I'm thinking about downloading into an Android. Well, what else could you do? And it's fun. I love to get into the possibilities of an idea, and some ideas are just loaded with possibilities. I just love that when I come across those kinds of ideas. All right, another aspect is we tend to, because of this introverted intuition, we tend to look at the future a lot. We're heavy on what will be and what could be, maybe even what should be in the future, and it's amazing. Sometimes it's absolutely frightening how accurate that can be. I wrote a story back in around 2000 about events that matched up almost identical what was going on in 2020 and what could very well happen in the future, where it's going to lead. It's kind of scary sometimes when you look at what you saw 20 years ago coming true today. This is the thing. That's a curse of the INTJ. It's almost a Cassandra kind of thing, where you can say what you see is coming, and nobody's going to listen to you. It just comes, and there's no stopping it. And it's rather frustrating at times. But I enjoy looking at the future, thinking about the future. What, especially as a society, as a planet, as a species, as possibly another species, because the thing is, I think an awful lot of people don't realize this, but 300,000 years ago or more, there were no humans on this planet, and we mutated into what we are, and we're going to keep mutating. It's not going to stop. So we're not going to stay as human Homo sapiens forever. It's going to be something else down the road, assuming we don't get exterminated first and something else takes over. But the future is not going to be what it is today, and it's exciting to think about the future. The future's got my mind going all the time. If you landed on Earth during the time the dinosaurs were here, you wouldn't recognize the continents as well as most of the plants. The whole darn planet would seem like an alien planet. Well, that's what's going to happen in the future. Everything's going to change again. We're living in this little window of time with these particular set of circumstances that are unique to that time, and they're going to change. And how are they going to change? It's exciting to think about. What's going to be the future? Yeah, that's definitely a thing for me. The next one is when you remember events, an INTJ will tend to recall impressions rather than exact details of what occurred, and that's often true. I experience something, I feel how the whole package kind of happened together rather than exact details. And sometimes my details are pretty wrong. My wife was better at the details, ESTP. A lot of times she had that sensor thing going, and she picked up the details. But my thing was the general impression of what happened, and how it kind of fit a pattern of some sort. It was. I'm definitely oriented that way, where I kind of want to have the big picture thing of how things happen, rather than than just the little tiny details stacked together. And the next one is INTJs are good at reading between the lines to figure out what things might really mean. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. When I'm talking about whether it's news events or life events of any sort, or whether I'm looking at a literary work or a movie or whatever. I'm looking for what's going on under the surface, what's between the lines, a lot. Things have purposes. There's propaganda in movies all the time, and I look for that. I see it. I mean, it like slaps me in the face because I'm looking for it. There's more to almost everything that you're exposed to, and I because I'm looking for a pattern and I want to understand things. I tend to see things that are between the lines, that were almost hidden but not quite, and that's definitely part of that introverted intuition thing, and it's real. It definitely is. If you enjoyed the video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.